super quick recap. Stay current. Like, check out what the latest features are. I know we've called it getting started. I almost think of this as like fundamentals.
Yeah.
Right. Like, go look at things like memory, and go look at things like entity resolution and those kinds of new features, and figure out what you can use the most of them. Think about screens and how you're going to bring a screen to it. And maybe you've done a lot of voice experience, but you haven't done voice plus screen. So get started and stay fresh with that. Staying on the latest is going to help you get there. Retention. Really got to think through the retention pieces. You're looking for this magic combination of the ease with which people can use it, the value that they're going to get out of using it, and then what's going to trigger them to come back in and get using it.
And retention is going to be doubly important when you're dealing with a ton of customers that are coming in.
That's right.
Skill.
That's right.
Yeah. And then there's monetization. Now, you've effectively retained your customers, and you've got a lot of engaging experience, or you've got a very engaging experience created within your skill. Now you're looking at how can we monetize this, or what are the best ways to do it. And really the crux of monetization comes down to the upsell.
Yep.
And that's what we want to really think about, is we want to think about new and interesting mechanics for encouraging a customer to explore the potential for making a purchase within your skill.
And this one's the key for me, because I really am hopeful that everybody out there builds full-on multi-person studios generating tons of great content.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to do that is you're going to hire people.
Oh, yeah.
And to hire people, you got to be in there making money. So thinking about how these play out, and it's just got to be a great value for customers so that they buy in.
Yeah, it's really not just about building the skill, but seeing how far we can really take it and making the business out.
Yeah, and now it's completely fair, by the way, that some big brands or something like that have other goals.
Yeah.
Like, they might not want to monetize. They might
true.
want awareness, other things. Those are completely legit and valid as well,
Yeah.
and they really play into all this. So I'm speaking to more of the studio type people. Like, if you're trying to build a studio out of this, then you're going to have to go up to that.
Yeah.
All right, scaling.
And then there's scaling. So we've created a skill, and we want to make sure that it can now grow with our growing customer base. And the scaling really comes down to how you employ your technology infrastructure. But like, as Paul had kind of mentioned it, you've really got to put your web services engineering hat on and start to think about the mechanisms that we can employ, right? There's some really simple standard mechanisms, things like employing caching through all your API layers, right? But then there's the ones that we specifically spoke about today, right? So if you've got a skill in Lambda, you may want to look at the number of concurrent executions, the memory allocation, timeout. You could also try to look at CloudWatch and make sure that you're paying attention to how your infrastructure is scaling, right? You're logging, you've got alarms set up, you're monitoring the health. And then there's the database component. So if you've got S3 or DynamoDB, what is your throttle limit set at, right? And how can we expand it, even if it's temporarily, right? The nice part is that AWS is incredibly elastic, right? So what we can do is we can go in, provision some more resources to deal with temporary demand, and then we can scale it back when we don't really need to. So there's those three, and then there was also the content delivery network. So we talked about taking major assets, computationally expensive assets to transfer, right? Like big, heavy things like videos, like multimodal experiences, or long form audio, or high quality audio, right? You want to take that and you want to distribute it over a CDN so that it's closest to the customer, and that will really kind of reduce latency. And make the experience that much richer.
And then marketing. So this is just being ready for the marketing machine to come through, and it's a combination of you being ready, having all of your materials ready, and making sure you have a good, clear call to action with fresh content, and then also being able to promote your experience, and then being highly reliable so that when you promote, it all works. And then if we pick it up through featuring, that everything's going to go hunky-dory.